Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you'd like, Super Dave. Thank you for joining us today. Everybody in the chat, hello, 610 Yojo Daddy. Hello, Michael Gene Fleming. Good morning, everybody. We are talking about the Steel Corps Troopers. And you might ask yourself, wait a minute, the Steel Corps Troopers, weren't they called the Steel Brigade? We're going to answer that question in this episode. So this is number 95 in the G.I. Joe classified line. So let's get right into it. The history of G.I. Joe, the Steel Corps was basically a creator type of toy where every child could create their own G.I. Joe. And it was called Steel Brigade. It was a mail away opportunity for kids to send in their specs or their version of what they would want to be. It would have their code name, it would have their specialties and all their weapons and everything. And it would be basically you, what you would want to be as a G.I. Joe. And so let's go a little bit into the history of that, and we will get. Good morning, Bobby World. Thank you for joining us this morning. And good morning, Sean Jones. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm surprised Steel Core wasn't used for the selfie series. I think that would have been a great idea, Bobby World. Happy Friday, Chat and Dave. Thank you, Sean Jones. I think that would have been a brilliant idea if they had a little bit of forethought, and they could have even did a Creator Cobra at the same exact time, and you could have been either a Steel Core or Cobra, one of the two, and had your own character. And then they could have came up with something for Marvel as well, maybe an Agent of Shield, or maybe a Red Ninja, or I guess a Yakuza ninja, or a Hydra, or something like that, or in Star Wars, a stormtrooper or a rebel person or whatever. I think using the individual brands to make you into one of those type of things would have been much more realistic and more imaginative for people for those brands. And yeah, I think using Steel Core or Creator Cobra would have been perfect for GI Joe. So let's see what Dan had to say about the Steel Brigade, and we will get into the Steel Core in just a minute. So here you go, Steel Brigade from 1987. I thought it was earlier. When I was researching this, I learned it was 1987. So there's many variations of the Steel Core. At this point where we're making this video, there's 5 variations that I'm aware of. A friend of mine is an expert on Steel Brigade. I was thinking about getting him on this episode, but it's a little too early for my friend. But at the time of filming this, I'm aware of 5 variations. All right. So there's a little bit of a design over there on the left, and a little bit of the figure on the right, on the side there. And then there's a bunch of concepts for um, tampos and designations and all kinds of things there as well. We're going to get into the creation of the Steel Brigade. Alternate names: NA, year release 1987, designed by Ron Rudat. So, like I said, he pretty much designed every character and figure from 82 to 97, with the exception of several vehicle drivers he did not, but most of the vehicle drivers he did. So, Ron Rudat was very heavily involved in the design of most of the characters that we love as children, as at that age when I was a child, at least. Okay, Dan has to say, offered as a mail-in offer by Hasbro Direct, the Steel Brigade characters came about after Kurt Bazigian, director of direct marketing, found a company that could create personalized children's books. He approached the company and asked if they could help with creating a personalized G.I. Joe Combat Command File card. The company stated they could and helped create the questionnaire that became the order form itself. The overall idea for a child to imagine themselves as a member of the G.I. Joe team. After learning he could do this, Kurt approached the R&D team and asked if they could help get the figure out to marketplace in a short period of time. Outside of creating a helmet that would block any specific characteristics or features, the R&D team were able to use existing parts that were available at the time. So there you go. And so here's a picture of the form right there, and my fingers are on it right there. Nope, wrong hand. This hand right here. I can get to it over here. There, right there. You can see that page right there. That was the form that you got in the mail to fill out for your character, and then you would get your figure, and you would also get a hat and a patch and some other paperwork and stuff like that, and you would get a figure like this. Now, I do not have a complete figure. I'm missing the gun, but I do have the backpack, which is very rare. The backpack, it's a redeco of the Duke and Airborne backpack, and this is my one that I have. I believe this is an A Steel Brigade, and I have the patch as well, which is very rare. So I have two parts that are very rare. One, the figure is kind of common. The A one is common. But like I said, there are 5 variations of Steel Brigade, and I only have the A variation. So there's a B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, and E. 5 variations. All right. Let's see. Sean Jones. I like the helmet, but the classified buck they used is meh at best. Great figure and concept. I also own it at Modern 4-inch. Yeah, there's also a 4-inch. You're right, Sean Jones. There's a 4-inch version of this as well. And I correct me if I'm wrong. Does the helmet on the 4-inch come off? I don't recall if it comes off or not. But this is it's a rare figure in certain respects, but it's not in other respects. Like the A variant is the most common, so it's the easiest one to find. But as you go down the variations, they become rarer and rarer, and then the patch is also rarer and rarer as well, because there's different versions of the patches as well. And people that have the entire kit complete, that's extremely rare. The ball cap, the paperwork, and all this stuff. My friend has all of those things. He's got every variation. of patches. He's got the whole kit and everything. One of these days, maybe I'll do a video and do a review of the Steel Brigade on here. I'll get my friend to come on here and do that with me. I would have liked to have had him on this video, like I said earlier. Yes, okay, so it does, the helmet does come off. So let's look at the only artwork I could find for the Steel Brigade through Carson's series of books. So that was Creating the History of G.I. Joe, Volume 13 by Dan Klingensmith. And then the only artwork I could find for the artwork collecting the art of G.I. Joe was Volume 3 by R. Carson McTax's 3D Joes, was the headshot there and this little piece of artwork here that shows, and it says on there, Steel Brigade offer J45 1987, be the next Joe team member. And it shows the Steel Corps with Hawk and a bunch of Joes, and I think the one of the tanks, looks like the Mauler, not the Mauler, I can't remember what the name of that tank is. So that was the only artwork I could find in the Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe by Carson. And because this is a character that can be anybody, he really never showed up in Larry Hama's vintage comics, and he really never showed up in Sunbow either. I think maybe there was an advertisement, and there might have been some animation for that in the advertisement, but I'm not 100% on that. So then that brings us to classified Steel Corps Troopers. Now, Steel Brigade as a name, I believe, was copyrighted at the time by Hasbro, but the copyright had fallen by the wayside, and another company, the Valaverse, picked up the copyright. So now Steel Brigade is the copyright is owned by Valaverse, Bobby Valla. So that's why Hasbro, in doing the Steel Corps Troopers, did not have Steel Brigade on the package for this because they lost the copyright of that name. So there's number 95, and you can see there's two in here. There's not only a male version, there's a female version. So they scaled this imaginary type thing for every child. Not only can it be a man or a boy, it can be a girl as well, and a woman. So I think that was a brilliant idea by them to upscale it to every ethnicity and every gender, boy, girl. So now really anybody could be a G.I. Joe. So I like that artwork. It looks really cool. I like a little bit of the update of the costumes there in that piece of artwork. And then we have the Target artwork with QR code to nowhere. And again, we have the, let's see, 610 Yojo Daddy. I have a pink Steel Brigade autographed by Valla, only one I have of Valaverse. Yeah, I only have the Sergeant Slaughter of the Valaverse myself, personally. I was supposed to get another one. I won in a second Valaverse figure in a contest on It's Chad's channel, but he has never sent it to me. And I've asked him about it several times, and he said, well, one day he'll give it to me. I don't know if I'll ever get my second Valaverse figure, but I only have the Sergeant Slaughter one because I never thought we were going to get a classified Sergeant Slaughter. So I said, oh, this is going to be perfect in scale with classified. So I bought the Valaverse one. But goes to show me I was wrong. So then we have the render on the back, and then we have the a little bit of the tampos and some of the callouts from the figures themselves there, and you can see the loadout in this package. It is tons of stuff that's in this, and obviously they're giving them all kinds of things that never came with the vintage. I showed you pretty much what came with the vintage. The difference is he came with a rifle. I do not have the rifle, and it was the snow job rifle, I believe, in black, but I don't have that. So then we have all the designations. So we're going to put this aside. We're going to look at the designations. We'll see what the possibilities for the Steel Corps troopers are as far as that goes. So we got foot soldier. We got, let's see, we got medium weapons. We got, hmm. Aerial combat, and then we have the lightning bolt, which I know I have the lightning bolt somewhere. Let's see. Where's the lightning bolt? Oh, Vanguard. So Vanguard and aerial combat and light weapons and foot soldier. So there you go. So that's your designations for your Steel Corps troopers there. Let's see. The name is a trademark, not copyright. The difference is that copyrights cover design and last for a decade-long fixed term, and then the trademarks cover names, logos, and indefinite. Ah, I see, Michael Gene Fleming. Thank you very much. Copyrights and trademarks. I got that mixed up. But only while they are kept in use. If not used, trademarks can be lost. That's why Valverse can be called Steel Brigade, but look different from classic Steel Brigade, while Hasbro looks like the classic Steel Brigade, but is now called Steel Corps. Thank you very much. I appreciate you explaining that and helping me out with that. Um, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know trademark and copyright law. So I did the best I could. Should have been decades, I think 70 years. Yeah, pretty sure trademark is 70 years. Used to be 75 years, but then there's some issues with Superman, and I think it may have been reduced by 5 years. But like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a trademark and copyright attorney. So thank you for helping out with that. I appreciate it, Michael Gene Fleming. So then we go to the photography artwork on the front of the package by Shooting the Galaxy again and Matt. And then we have the side artwork a little bit expanded, a render of all the equipment. Again, Steel Corps Troopers. And then it's a call out to the 1987 G.I. Joe movie because it has the Statue of Liberty in the background and that beginning credit sequence where they were fighting in front of the Statue of Liberty, and you have a couple of trouble bubbles back there and stuff like that. So I really like it, and the fact that looking at this artwork, they have rocket packs. So they took some of the rocket packs that were used in the early years of G.I. Joe 82, 83, characters like Stalker and Duke and Airborne and those type characters would use them in the Sunbow animated series and in advertisements and stuff like that. So I'm glad that they included these rocket packs. And then there's another character we'll get to down the road that is famous for using a rocket pack that is another mail away character. So let's get this opened up. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get to open 2 figures today. So, of course, we have 2 figures, female and male. Steel Corps troopers. And then we have their weapons crate and weapons locker crate, whatever you want to call it. Steel Corps troopers, 95, G.I. Joe, Stars and Stripes. So we'll put that over there. We'll put their box over here. We've been doing some really fun videos the last few videos, so I'm really excited about that we're getting some really fun ones. So it gives us an opportunity to delve deeper into the brand and deeper into these characters and their history. Again, this is the first time we're opening this figure up. And we started with the 00 Snake Eyes, and we've worked our way up to 95 now. And we're almost up to the 12th vintage package figure. That will be probably tomorrow or the next day. I got a couple of other things that I'm working on that I would like to do. So I don't know if we'll be doing that one right away or down the road a little bit. So, but our 12th vintage package will be coming soon. And then we've also done some odds and ends with the Fortnite Snake Eyes and some of the running variants. And then we'll be getting into the 60th anniversary very soon. After 100, we will be doing our first 60th anniversary figure. And then we will lead into the legacy after that. And that'll be every 10 videos or 10th video that we will do that. So there you go. Let's see. All right, so there's your two figures. There. And there's your artwork. There, your interior artwork. And that side panel. We will put that over here. And there you go. So now we got a figure. I think it was Grunt. I'm pretty sure it was Grunt that had one of these helmets. So that was a early preview of this figure that we were going to be getting this figure soon because this helmet came with Grunt. And it makes sense that he would have a helmet like that because he's kind of the Grunt of the team, right? The green shirt before there were green shirts. Too short? What do you mean, Sean Jones? What's too short? The figure is too short? Think it's a little too small? I really like the kind of eyes they give these guys, these like laser eyes, and there's a tampo in the middle of their showing that laser viewer there. And then there's that other tampo there, that yellow tampo. See if I can get that there, like that. Okay. Well, the thing about the Steel Corps is it's every man, it's every person could be a Steel Corps or a Steel Brigade or whatever you want to call it. So maybe they made it a little bit more reasonable height for the every Joe, pun intended. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But it is a little bit. I agree with you. It feels a little short to me. It feels a little bit small. There's the female one and the male one. So the female one's slightly smaller than the male one. There's a cool secondary here with all kinds of deco on it. A knife sheath, a second secondary here with pouches and some metal loops with some deco. The shoulder type I don't know. I don't want to call them pauldrons. I guess armor. The shoulder armor are really cool. There's some little gold deco there. Obviously, that Tampo has deco there, and that must be a Vanguard, some sort of Vanguard deco. And he's got that blue like badge little deco there thing, energy thing there. Um, it it looks like it's a new mold. I think this is it looks different unless they're using the grunt legs. You can tell me if you agree with me. Are these the grunt legs? They just decoed them different with khaki, and then they have the green knee pads on there. But I'm not sure. I know this shirt looks different. This blue like Dockman or what do you call it? Longshoreman type shirt. He's got like this blue longshoreman type shirt. So I'm wondering if they would use that for shipwreck down the road in the future. Um, but you can let me know if you think this is the bulk of the grunt body. I'm not sure. Sometimes I can be certain it is, or sometimes I can't, depending upon the figure. They do a good job disguising it with paint and things like that. But I think this might be the grunt legs and waist, but the top is different. But I think you're right. It feels a little short to me. The female is a little shorter than that, and she's got some different deco on her. She's got some shin guards that are green, um, and her shirt doesn't have all the stripes on it, and she's got these arm guards on her, and she has smaller shoulder guards, and this shoulder guard has a pouch, a black pouch on it. So they did make it different. It is unique to the female. It's not identical, and obviously the mold is smaller and shorter as well, but there are similar call outs, like the mask with the laser light there, and she's got the little blue tampo there on that little computer thing, and she's got the tampo for the Vanguard as well there. But basically, the uniform is just a smaller version of the Steel Corps, with the exception of some of the guards and armor that she has in different places that the male one doesn't have. But it looks pretty good. I think it's really they do a really good job, kind of um, not only layering but picking where the tampos, where the color separations are in these figures, because you can see there's all kinds of like detail in the legs and stuff like that to make these more realistic, like they're like fatigues that would be worn in a futuristic armed forces type thing. I don't know how to describe it properly. And then obviously the back with the layering and stuff, again with the legs. On both of these, in fact, they have that layering and those legs similarly. Um, so I think this is a really nice upgrade. Now, um, I'm going to go into a little bit of the vintage one. I'm going to explain a couple things. The vintage one, as was explained in Dan Klingensmith's series of books, they used a lot of reuse. So they had reused, I think, three characters up until the Steel Corps. If that's 87, then there might have been more, in fact, because obviously we got Flash. There was the silver variation of Flash with the jump jet and the jump pad, and then we got the khaki desert grunt and the khaki desert clutch. And then obviously Cobra Commander was a redeco with the hood. So they only used 4 redecos up until I think that point. So the Steel Corps was using a lot of parts from Airborne, Duke, and so on and so forth. So as it went along, the 4 or 5 variations, they pulled other pieces from other figures, and so it kept getting redone as a mail away. So every so many years, it still was a mail away in the 90s. It was still getting sent out as a mail away in the 90s. So you could still get versions of it. That's why the later you get your mail away, that version is rare. And so redecoing stuff at that point was not common. It started to get more common as they went along after Steel Brigade, because then we got Mission Brazil, then we got Starduster, then we got Tiger Force, then Python Patrol, Night Force, and Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders, and so it just became a huge thing. They redecoed characters, and they redecoed them and gave them new names, new heads even, and redecoed the bodies. So it became a common thing. But Steel Core was one of the first ones that they did. It's probably the fourth one that they did, but they mixed and matched different parts instead of just redecoing like they did with Flash, Grunt, and Clutch. They just took the figure and repainted those versions. This was multiple parts used from multiple figures: Duke, Airborne, and so on and so forth. And they just gave it the new head where you couldn't tell who was underneath the mask. So I think this is a good upgrade to that figure per se, because maybe we would get some of these parts down the road with other characters. Maybe these arms and chest for a female, and maybe these arms and this chest for maybe a longshoreman shipwreck or something like that. I can see that. I'm sure the legs have been used already for other things as well, and I could be wrong, but maybe parts of this female was used maybe for Scarlet, maybe for Quarrel, maybe for Glenda, the vintage Scarlet. I'm not sure. I would have to go and check my vintage Scarlet to see. No, looks like doesn't look the same. So the arms and stuff are not the same as the Scarlet, from what I can tell. So that's a different female mold. So who knows who that could be used for down the road. But let's get into some of the accessories right now, because we got a lot to go through here. We got to put 2 figures together on this video. So let's see. We got obviously G.I. Joe Cobra package again. That there. And then we have a second one. And then we have, of course, the Legal and Indicia Gobbledygook. Put that back in there. Good morning, G.I. Joe RPG Stories. Thanks for joining us again in the chat. I have those guys, but I always wondered how elite they actually were compared to regular Joes. That's a good question. I think they can fit in like a green shirt. If you think of them as kind of like a green shirt type of a character, they're kind of like support. So if you have like, I don't know, like a base or whatever, and you have specialists like maybe barbecue or maybe airtight or maybe, I don't know, psych out or somebody, and these guys would be support to those specialists. And the same thing when it comes to the front lines. They would be on the front lines helping characters like Duke and Stalker and Scarlet fight with their backpacks and fighting in the air and stuff. Kind of what they show on the front of this package. Them in the front lines fighting with the other team. Like, so they're... so I envision them as green shirts, just a little bit more advanced green shirts, if that works for you, RPG stories. All right, let's see. Let's open this first one. But I think in the grand scheme of things, when you have stuff like green shirts, steel core troopers, and like characters like Grunt, that gives you a lot of playability and diorama flexibility and uh, areas to work with for extra troops to do. If you don't have every Joe, you could use Steel Core. If you don't have every green shirt figure, you can use Steel Core. Either way, you can mix and match and make a squad or a platoon or whatever, and just throw one of them in there with that group of characters that you have. So we got the cool rocket packs, and it says JPU81GP. So it's like J jump 81 and a US flag on there. Tampo. Really cool. I love these. I've always enjoyed the rocket packs that they had in G.I. Joe, and it was one of my favorite things because you could, without a vehicle, you could do a lot with these figures when they had a rocket pack, because they could be flying and do all kinds of neat stuff and have fun with the bad guys and stuff like that. And this one has exact same thing, JPU81GP with a flag Tampo on it. So we got 2 of those. And this bag is tons and tons of effects. So those are the Desert Snake Eyes legs, Sean Jones. Thank you. That might be why these are a little bit short, because Snake Eyes was a bit of a shorter buck. So that could answer that question for the person that made that comment, that it was a little shorter. And then G.I. Joe RPG Stories. I have those guys, but I always wondered. Oh, there he goes. I must have skipped that Sean Jones question. Sorry. Or comment. So this is nothing but effects and blast effects in here, the entire package. So we have 4 of these blast effects with a little bitty smoke at the end of them that can go on the bottom of the rocket pack. There, 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. And then we have a couple of different other little blast effects. I think some of this stuff came with Scrap Iron and his little drone. I don't usually use the blast effects that much, but it's cool that they come with it. I think it goes to what we were talking about in the last video, that a lot of this is reusable and modular. I think it was Sean Jones that I was talking to about that. The fact that you can use these effects and these blasts with all different figures. So there's 2 of that little blast, a small one and a larger one there. There's this little octagon one there. Let's see. I don't know. I can't really get the lighting on this. Let's see. Is that a little bit better? There you go. You can see it now. There. And then we got this scatter blast effect. Scatter blast effect there. Then we have the little teeny smoke blast effect there. Little tiny one. And then we have this little, it looks like you're like smoking a cigar. It's like a little smoking cigar blast effect type of thing, but I'm sure it's like after you blast off type of thing. So then we got the second package. Let's see. We have a couple of rifles. So So we got, wow, that's a cool looking rifle, very futuristic rifle, and some green deco on that. Lots of cool detail. I really like that a lot, and green deco on both sides. Then we have a little smaller rifle, another futuristic rifle. I like how they've kind of gone back to more of the futuristic weaponry that they started with. They kind of veered away from it for a while, and now they're going back to the futuristic weaponry. They're just leaving out the blue laser effects on it. So, and there's another one. So that's a different gun. Look at all the details in that. And then there's some green deco there on the bottom on both sides of that. So there's like 3 different guns there. So you can mix and match all the guns. And then we have these helmets. I think maybe this is the helmet that the Grunt came with. And this is more of a aerial helmet, I guess, to go with the rocket pack that they came with. So there's 2 of them, one for each, and one is smaller than the other. So this must be the male one. This is the female one because it's a smaller head. So we'll put those over there. So you can swap out their heads as well. And then they have a whole bunch of other little weapons. I think that's everything in there. Put that aside. So let's see. We have lots of cartridges. There's like 4 different cartridges for this set. 1, 2, there. Actually, 3 cartridges for all 3 of the guns. There. Let's see. Sean Jones. Anyone getting any figures delivered today or over the weekend? I have a couple things on my delivery for today, but they're Super 7. I think it's a wave of Thundercats, and then I don't have any classified or any thing else. I think for delivery, just Super 7, I believe. Then they both have this normal pistol that's been used numerous times since the beginning, this little laser pistol. So we got 2 of those. And then we got 2 knives because they have those sheaths on their chests. They got that little knife. 2 of them with a little deco, silver deco. And then there's also a silencer, I guess, for the smaller rifle. There's a little silencer. So let's put the silencer on that. There. So I got the silencer on there. And then let's put all these cartridges inside. So there's 1 there. So now that's all put together there, except my little silencer, a little limp there, but it's all right. And then we'll put the cartridges on these there. And this one. There. I wonder if I got the right cartridge because this seems a little thicker. So I'm going to swap these cartridges out and see if it fits better. No, it's about the same. They're about the same, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. So there's your 2 rifles with their cartridges. And then we got the gun. So then let's put the backpacks on these. I'm wondering if the backpacks are sized for the figure. Nope, they look the same. I mentioned that there's some tampo in that little designation there, but there's also some gray and silver deco on here. So I like the fact that they gave some deco to this and made it more realistic. You guys remember the guy that created that that jetpack in the 60s? And I think they used it in one of the James Bond movies. And it's like a water jetpack. I always loved that. Whenever I saw that, I was like, man, I wish we had jetpacks. I wish we could do that. As a kid, I was like, how come they haven't made that easier to use or easier to get some sort of a um, more use out of. And it all these years later, that was in the 60s, and we're in the 2025, and we still don't have jetpacks. I'm a little bit disappointed. As a kid, watching all those old sci-fi like videos and stuff like that on the future of what the future was going to be with futuristic cars and all those inventions, I thought, oh man, we're going to have a rocket pack in the future. Here we are, 2025. I don't have a rocket pack yet. I'm very disappointed. So there, I swapped out the head. I gave him his rocket pack. So let's give him one of these rifles. I'm going to give him this heavy duty rifle. There. Um, there. Oh, let's get some of these other things on him first. All right. Well, first we're gonna step back a little bit. So I gave him his gun, but I forgot to cover the articulation. So he's got the double the butterflied shoulder articulation. He's got the double pin knees, double pin elbows. He's got the normal crotch and leg articulation. It looks like he's got an ab crunch under there, underneath that secondary. He's got the ankle rocker. He has the secondary ankle articulation. He's got the wrist articulation, and he has the second wrist articulation that goes up and down and swivel, but he doesn't have the this cut here, that articulation. So he's got that new hand one that goes up and down, plus like that. So I believe the female steel core also has that. So we're going to get his knife into that little sheath on his armor there. And then he's got a gun on his right leg, secondary. He's got two other secondaries, one on his right leg and one on his left leg. His left leg doesn't have anything except for pouches. So that's fine. So we got him decked out and loaded for bear for now. We'll see how it goes after that. Uh, I would have liked to have gotten a little bit of a stand to put them on to show them flying, but it is what it is. We get what we get. So I'm going to take the female one's helmet off, and I'm going to put the female sky helmet on. There. Now, there is a difference in the necks, where because he has that longshoreman like turtleneck on, his is blue and his neck joint is blue. She does not. She has a different type of shirt. She's got a collar and her neck joint is black. So there is a difference between their neck joints and their necks. So let's go see what we can do with her now. I think it would have been kind of cool to include a little bitty like paper or dossier with these, that you could maybe, since this is supposed to be geared towards children, kind of towards children, I think it would have been kind of cool to make your own characters. Since they don't have names, I think they should have included some sort of a document inside this where you could make your own character like you did when you were a kid. I think that would have been a really cool call out to this. So we're putting her rifle and putting her knife in her sheaths and the holster for the rifle or the gun. So there's most of that. And I'm going to give her the smaller rifle. And then we will see what they look like all put together and set up. All right, so let's see. What do you guys think? Do you think they should have included some sort of a document for that? For them to be able to create our own characters again, or do you think that was too much? Because it does say just Steel Corps Trooper on it. So there's the female one, kind of. let's use a little bit of the rockets effects and see what it looks like. One, two. Pew, 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 pew. I'll get you, Cobra. Is that awesome or not? That is so awesome. I love that. Now that really brings back some imagination to this old head of mine. So I'm going to lay her there, and I'm going to get my dude steel core decked out as well. I'm going to have to look to see if I can find some stands, some aerial stands. Maybe I can get some Marvel Legends stands where I can put these guys on where it shows them like flying. Oh man, I love it. I think that's so awesome. You can tell I'm a big child, making sound effects while I'm playing with my toys. Um, so yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think we should have got those dossiers? What do you guys think about these Silver Guard? Do you think they did a great job upgrading these to the modern era and getting a little bit of imagination with these, with the optional helmets and the optional different equipment that came with it, so you can mix and match and do a lot of different stuff with them? Do you think they homage the vintage steel brigade well? Give me some comments and give me some thoughts. um, I like them. I think they're really neat, and I think they're good for diorama use and a lot of troop building use. So I hope you guys like them too. So our next video is going to be another reuse. It's going to be another vintage package figure. So it'll be our 12th vintage package figure. It'll be a reuse of a previous character, which most vintage package figures are reuse of a previous character. There's going to be in the future some new characters that have never appeared in the line, which I find odd that they're doing that with vintage package. But in the future, we're going to get some that never appeared in the line as a vintage package. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it should be a mainline figure first. But, you know, at least Recondo, he got a Tiger Force figure first and then got his other deco as a vintage. So, yeah, it's a little fuzzy for me, that whole idea of making a character's first appearance in the vintage package. I don't necessarily like that or agree with that. So when we get into that, I will discuss that when we get to that point. So we're going to be getting a lot of redeco from now till 100. It'll all be redecos and reuse, but still some really fun stuff coming up leading to 100. And I have that interview scheduled for James McFadden. Oops. James McFadden, the author of Fighting for Freedom. That's going to be next week. So we'll be doing that video. We may end up doing that video before we get to 100 classified review. HasLab Hiss. So stay tuned to that interview. It should be a really interesting one. And I think I'm going to be doing a comparison video. I'm going to try to do a classified and vintage vehicle comparison to showcase the different scales of a similar vehicle, and we'll take all the vehicles that we've gotten up to this point, and I might do it after we do the his tank, just so I can use the his tank in that video as well. So we'll do like the his tank, we'll do the trouble bubble, we'll do Serpentor's air chariot, we'll do the ram. And I think those are the only vehicles we've gotten thus far up until 100. But I think that should give us a good uh, comparison, because there are different scales and different types of vehicles. So, and then we'll talk about the possibility of what vehicles, what's the low hanging fruit, what's out of the realm of possibility and stuff like that. We can have that HasLab discussion during that comparison video. That should be a really interesting one. I look forward to doing that with you guys, to getting a lot of input on that video. I'm still trying to do my Energon Skybound episode 2 coming up. That will be with my um, co-host from Talking Toy Talk on Sunday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Dan Thompson is going to come on and do that deep dive into Skybound with me. So that's coming up as well. So then with the 100th classified review, we're also going to try to marry that with our 200th episode, and that's going to be coming up. And we're going to do not only the HasLab review, but 4 figures in that review as well, and then another Street Fighter with Ken, and then my top 10 Cobras. So it's going to be a huge episode when we get to that. It'll probably be on a weekend to hopefully give you guys a better opportunity to be there. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, hit the notifications so you can be there for all those fun episodes that are coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. I want all you guys there. I want all you guys to contribute, ask questions, give your suggestions and your ideas and comments for those videos. Okay. So it's very important that we start sharing these videos, because I'm trying to share as much as I can. I share to about, I don't know, 30 or so groups on Facebook. I'm trying to figure out how to do the sharing on Instagram and on TikTok so we can get this audience to grow more and more. And I appreciate all you guys in the chat and all the folks that have joined and subscribed over the last month or so, and everybody that chimes in after the fact, and the replay crew. I really appreciate you guys getting involved and contributing as well there. And so thank you, everybody, and we will see you in the next one. And this was definitely a big Yo Joe episode. Pew, 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 pew. Yo Joe. I have to put them down so I can click the end stream button.